Hello and welcome back to the Snakebite. It's our weekly sports show that airs every Tuesday at noon. I'm John Christovich with James Simpson. Thank you so much for joining us here at FSCTV. Here's this week's episode of the Snakebite.
Let's start with the baseball team this week, which came away with a huge series win over the top 10 ranked Rollins. The Mocs started the weekend out on Friday, falling in extra innings to the Tars on their field 2-1. It was a phenomenal weekend on both sides for the pitchers, but despite the combined gem on the mound for the Mocs, a walk-off homer would do them in by the bottom of the 12th. Things turned around on Sunday, though, as the Mocs took a doubleheader to win their second consecutive series against a conference opponent. Eric McAtee and Dawson Lane each had fantastic performances on Sunday to give the Mocs the advantage.
Yeah. Talk about some pretty good baseball there, especially from a pitcher's perspective. We saw McAtee pitch 7 innings of just 1-run ball. Dawson Lane threw 6 innings for his own right, striking out 7, giving up just 1 run as well. He was named a Sunshine State Conference Player of the Week this time around. Duncan Hunter had RBIs in both games, including the go-ahead solo shot in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Jeff LaCorey blasted his team-leading 12th long ball, and Ahmad Fitz gathered the other RBI as the Mocs won both games in dramatic fashion, 2-1. They'll be back in action this weekend on the road at Palm Beach Atlantic, carrying an 18-15 record into that conference series.
And John, that wasn't the only exciting action on some Mocs Diamonds. There was good competition for the softball team as they took on a very good Rollins team as well. The visiting Tars would take the series 2-1, but not without a valiant effort from the Mocs against the conference's best team. On Friday night, the Mocs were a no-hit and lost in 7 innings, but came back strong for Sunday's doubleheader, winning Game 1 in walk-off fashion before falling in extra innings in the second game.
It was very interesting, James. You saw head coach Mo Schreiner start 7 different pitchers as each inning started until extra innings. So it paid off in Game 1. We saw Michaela Brady, a freshman, hit a walk-off single in the bottom of the 8th inning to give the Mocs a huge win in the early afternoon on Sunday. Game 2 was almost a carbon copy of the first game, but it was the Tars who came away with the series win after snatching a pair of runs in the top of the 12th inning. The Mocs actually would get one back in the bottom half, but saw that rally get stifled at the last time, and a really impressive performance by both squads involved. That 12-inning game is actually the longest one in Mocs history since March 10, 2017. They lost to Embry-Riddle in 15 innings, so really good softball, as you mentioned, and baseball on both diamonds this past weekend.
Yeah, and you like to see that gritty effort from the softball team, especially in this midpoint in the season. The softball team will be back at it this weekend at home against PBA. Now let's look at the women's tennis team, which went 1-2 this week against top-ranked opponents. They led off their week on Thursday with a loss to 7th-ranked St. Leo before defeating Palm Beach Atlantic in a thriller on Saturday. Olivia Bryant won the decisive point in her flight to give the Moccasins the big victory. On Sunday, the team fell to #1 ranked Barry as they now have just 3 more matches before the Sunshine State Conference Championships in Bradenton, and those will start April 22nd.
And the men's team on the counterpart was not as busy this week. They did win their only contest, though, against Palm Beach Atlantic on Saturday morning, 5-2. They're ranked 28th in the country right now and moved to 10-5 on the year. They, too, are going to have just 3 more contests before SSC postseason play, starting this Thursday against Embry-Riddle at 5:30 at home.
And both the men's and women's golf teams are in action this week and actually competing as we speak. Just a bit of a side note, it is National Poetry Month. The men's team is currently at the Battle of the Shores in Barrie, while the women's team enjoys Boca Raton's atmosphere as they compete against Lynn University. This is the final tune-up for the teams before the SSC Championships this weekend. The men will host here in Lakeland, while the women head to Ormond Beach, Florida.
Won't that be fun? Exciting to see the golf competition commence here in Lakeland. And speaking of SSC, the men's lacrosse team garnered another big conference win, taking down Embry-Riddle this past Saturday, 18-6. Jeff Atlas had a big day for the Moccasins per usual, tallying 10 total points, including 5 goals, as he continues to impress, while Max Freestone stopped 15 of 21 shots in cage to lead his team to victory. Plus, Kevin Horwitz set a new single-season record as he now becomes the first Moccasin to win more than 200 face-offs in a year, and they still have a long way to go. He also fired in a goal as the 12th-ranked Mocs moved to 8-3 on the season. Both the women's team and the men's team are going to be in competition this week starting on Wednesday. So women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse, two now top-ranked teams continue to do well. Well, James, let's check out our weekly track update.
Yeah, sure. The track team was over at Embry-Riddle over in Daytona Beach this weekend. Had a couple of impressive performances for some of our distance guys coming down to enjoy the 1,500-meter race, which is not something they normally get to do. They'll head up to Lee up in Tennessee this upcoming weekend for the Flames Invite. Have an opportunity to run some 10Ks and run some steeplechase races that the boys and women are really, really excited for.
I'm sure that's exciting for you guys. That does bring us to our Week in Mocs History segment, and today we are looking at April 6th, 1968. In the Wayback Machine, the Mocs baseball team took on Jacksonville University in an 18-inning affair in Northeast Florida. The game stands as the longest in Moccasin history, eventually ended in a 3-3 tie as the teams eventually came to a standstill after 18 innings. In addition to it being the longest game, the Mocs also set highs in at-bats and putouts in a game. It was head coach Hal Smeltzley's 11th season at the helm for the Mocs as his team would go on to win back-to-back national championships in 1972 and 1973. Boy, 18 innings, James. That's a lot. Well,
yes,
that brings us to the end of this week's episode. I'm John Christovich with James Simpson. Thank you so much for tuning in to FSCTV. We will see you next Tuesday at noon.